Imagine a man so fast with a knife that he could cut off your leg in under 30 seconds. Now imagine that same man so reckless that one operation ended with 3 people dead at once. This isn't a horror movie. This isn't fiction. This is the true story of Dr. Robert Liston, the most infamous surgeon of the 19th century. A man nicknamed the fastest knife in the West End. But here's the chilling question. Was his obsession with speed just about survival, or was he tapping into something darker? Something that made death arrive just a little too quickly? Stay with me, because this story will change how you think about medicine, mortality, and maybe even time itself. Before we dive in, make sure you hit subscribe and ring the bell, because trust me, you don't want to miss the stories we have coming up. Forgotten scientists, cursed experiments, and mysteries that textbooks would rather keep quiet. The year is early 1800s London. Surgery is not what you think of today. No anesthesia, no antiseptics, no sterile gloves. Operating rooms were more like butcher shops than hospitals. Patients were held down by assistants while surgeons raced against shock, blood loss, and screaming. And into this brutal world steps Robert Liston, a towering man, over 6 feet tall, with a booming voice and hands that moved like lightning. He believed that in a world without anesthesia, speed meant mercy. The faster the cut, the less the patient suffered. But mercy is a funny way of twisting into madness. Robert Liston became a legend for his speed. Eyewitnesses said he could amputate a leg in just 28 seconds. Picture this: a crowded operating theater, the smell of blood and sweat thick in the air, students leaning over the balcony, eager to see him work. Liston rolls up his sleeves, grabs the knife, and before anyone can blink, slice, done. He was celebrated, feared, revered, but he was also reckless. His speed sometimes came at a cost, and one day, that cost became the most infamous accident in surgical history. The story goes like this. Liston was performing an amputation. The patient was strapped to the table, assistants bracing his body. Liston, moving at breakneck speed, sliced through the leg, but in his frenzy, he also slashed his assistant's hand. The wound became infected. The assistant died. The patient, too, succumbed to infection. But here's the kicker. In his wild movements, Liston also cut through the coattails of a spectator. Terrified, the man dropped dead of a heart attack on the spot. 1 operation, 3 deaths. The only recorded surgery in history with a 300% mortality rate. Now, was this just a tragic accident of Victorian medicine, or was something else happening here? Because here's where it gets weird. Let's talk about Liston's obsession with time. To him, time was everything. The faster he moved, the closer he was to beating death itself. But there are stories, whispers, that patients on his table sometimes describe strange sensations, a distortion of time. Some claim that in those final moments before unconsciousness, they felt as though Liston was moving too fast, faster than humanly possible. Could Liston's speed have been more than just physical? Was he, in some way, bending time around his patients, hastening their deaths not just with steel, but with some deeper supernatural force? Remember, Victorian London was also obsessed with spiritualism and the afterlife. The line between science and the paranormal was often razor. Before we get too deep into theories, let's remember the brutal reality of 19th century medicine. Hospitals were death traps. Infection was everywhere. Antiseptic surgery wouldn't arrive until Joseph Lister, ironically, a student of Liston's time, changed medicine forever with carbolic acid. Back then, if you needed surgery, you were more likely to die than live. Liston's patients had better odds. His survival rate was actually higher than most of his peers. But when he failed spectacularly. And in those failures, the legend grew. But who was Robert Liston? Really, he wasn't a monster. In fact, many saw him as compassionate. He truly believed that speed spared suffering. He lectured, he taught, he even challenged his colleagues to adopt faster, more efficient methods. Yet his towering frame, booming voice, and violent precision gave him an almost mythic presence. He was medicine's grim reaper, deciding with each swing of the knife who would live and who would die. And when you stand that close to death, sometimes death looks back. Here's a theory that's haunted me while researching this story. Did Robert Liston in some way achieve immortality? Not physically, but through the sheer weight of his legend. His name has survived centuries, not because of his successes, but because of his spectacular failures. He's remembered more vividly than many who saved far more lives. It's almost as if by channeling death, by wielding it so recklessly, he carved out a piece of eternity for himself. Like a surgeon who never truly left the operating theater, his ghost lingering every time a scalpel flashes under bright lights. And here's the unnerving part. Some medical students today still whisper about feeling a presence in old surgical theaters, as if Liston himself is watching. So what do we make of Robert Liston? Was he a hero, sparing pain in an age of unimaginable suffering? Was he a reckless butcher who killed as many as he saved? Or was he something stranger, a man so obsessed with speed and time that he brushed against forces we still don't understand? Maybe all of it is true, and maybe that's why he's remembered not as a saint, not as a villain, but as something far more unsettling, a legend. What do you think? Was Liston just a man of his time or something more? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this journey into the bizarre world of Victorian science, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and share it with a friend who loves creepy history as much as you do. And don't stop here. Check out our next video, where we uncover the story of Frederick Holzell, the human billy goat man who swallowed glass, razor blades, and light bulbs, all in the name of science. Because here on Hidden Science, the truth is always stranger than fiction.